Welcome back, everybody, to the final 32 of the WWOCS. It's a final chance for the players to compete because we're playing the final round today. And sadly, I'm doing it without Huge, the guy who set this whole event up and gave the players who have been in the rank community a long time a chance to show off their skill and at the same time promote Werewolf Online to players who might not have seen the game before. So a very big event and a very good thing for Werewolf Online, and I think we should be grateful to Huge that he made this. Anyway, I wanted to briefly mention that, and let's get on with the games. And we're in game, guys. The first round of the Saturday lobby of the finals of WWOCS, and we're starting off with a Cannibal Full game. So let's see what happens. Of course, all of these players have made it all the way to the last 32 because the final is being played with 32 players. Unlike the last 16, which was originally intended, we decided to finish WWOCS early because Huge decided not to finish it due to personal circumstances. And for that reason, we are playing um, 4 games with 2 lobbies of the last 32, and after that we'll count up the scores and we'll have a final winner. And in the first night we see a medium dying. Of course, that's the best kill the werewolves can make, so already not a great start for the village here, but let's see if they can recover. We have a 10 claiming RS here, saying 6 is good as the RS here, 13 7 8 2, and 3 or 9 claiming RV, 3 and 9 claim duck. They counter claimed each other. Force claiming spirits here, they checked 3 and 8. It's a full game. Usually you see players single checking in the full game, but 4 decided to go for the double check and says that 3 and 8 are red. Um, are there other spirits here claims? I don't think so. So that means that force info should be valid here. And the village is deciding on voting 3. 3 claimed Doctor got counterclaimed, so it's very likely that 3 is fake, but there's also the possibility that 8 is a werewolf. Of course, 8 claimed Red Lady is not confirmed at all. We see 7 making the list of claims right there, 10, 11 Aura, 4, 6 SS, 3, 9, 11 Duck, and 8, 13, 7, and 2 are RV. So that's a lot of claims on the first day, but that's very typical for a high level game like this, because remember, these are some of the best ranked players out there. And yeah, it seems like the village is kind of leaning towards voting 3, but it's not entirely confirmed. And now they voted, now they watered 4, but 4 was the only spirit seer. I think 50 might have intended to water 3, but that was definitely not the play they were supposed to make. Now they lynched 3 anyway, and they do turn out to be a wolf seer, so a slightly risky lynch, but not really. As it was likely that 3 is a werewolf, but it wasn't confirmed. 3 might have as well been the foal. So already kind of a dodgy start by the village. The medium dying and the priest kind of wasting their water. But on the upside, 4 is the only spirit seer in the village, so it should be obvious that 4's info can be trusted and that will be used by the village throughout the game. And Converse spirit seers are going to prove very, very useful. 16 dies as sheriff, and their RV, they decided not to claim RV actually, which is an interesting decision, and I think that the werewolves decided to kill 16. Of course, they didn't have a werewolf seer anymore because 3 died, and they went for a no claim, maybe in hopes of killing Gunner. But instead of killing Gunner, they actually killed an unclaimed RV, which I think is actually a good play by 16 because it kind of baited them into doing that. Okay, let's get on to the day 2 info. 10 said 14 evil. 14 saying 2 good, 4 saying 12 red. We know that 4 is a spirit here, so I think that 12 is the safest lynch here, and the village is indeed deciding to lynch 12. And I think we're gonna see another werewolf going down. Meanwhile, they shouldn't forget that there's also still 2 solos in the game, so maybe the gunner is going to try and shoot for Cannibal. If they manage to do that, then it should be close to over for Village. Then it basically confirms their win. But if the Gunner doesn't, then there's still a chance if the Cannibal has some good kills. So yeah, there's a lot of pressure on Gunner in this situation actually. And it seems like they're pushing on 14 to be shot, but 14 got checked evil. I'm not sure that's the best shot, and they don't even turn out to be evil, so it's a brilliant play there by 10, pushing that bullet onto 14. Gunner needs to shoot in solo, but instead shoots a villager, and now the village might just be in trouble. And Lynch goes on to 12, who was a werewolf berserk. I don't think they have used that ability in the game, so yeah, of course that's not going to be good for them. They fail to activate their frenzy or at least get some kills with it. The junior goes down by the witch. That's a decent kill, but also a doubtful kill because you kind of know that 10 is the junior and you're still going to need that second bullet from 7. So I don't really agree with that, as the cannibal is also going to get some kills in, and it's going to start getting really, really dangerous for the village. Uh, but Cannibal only 8-11, so I'm not sure. Maybe they hit some protectors. I'm not sure what is happening here. Yeah, 11 saying that the witch made a mistake, which is true. The witch probably shouldn't have killed 10, as the cannibal had some kills stacked, even though they only killed 11. 2 saying 13 Kenny, and oh yeah, they saved somebody, and now they are seeing 13 as cannibals. So now it's actually all of a sudden looking pretty good for Village, as the cannibal wasn't able to avoid the tough guy, unless of course the cannibal can manage to vote out the real tough guy. Um, it might also be possible that 2 is actually the cannibal here. Um, but I don't think that's the case, since 13 is not pushing back so hard. Forcing a fake red lady. Of course, red lady is quite a common full claim. You often see that because at the beginning of the game, people don't really push red ladies, but at the end of the game, if you haven't died as red lady, then you start becoming a bit suspicious. And often the bullets will be gone, like in a situation like this where the gunner and the witch have already killed. Then it's very likely that the village is going to get some suspicion onto you. And then if you're the fool, that's of course a good thing, and you're kind of enabling yourself to have a situation that you can maybe push some votes on yourself, or get some votes on yourself from villagers. And the cannibal goes down by the village. Yeah, 2 correctly protected somebody. Maybe in this situation, 13 could have just claimed tough guy himself and pushed 2. That could have been perfectly possible, but instead, he lets himself be lynched. He didn't manage to kill 11 along with the role that 11 was protecting. And now let's see what happens. If the werewolves get a kill now, then it will be a 1v1v2 because there's a full werewolf and 2 villagers, meaning that the village is basically outnumbered because, of course, the fool is part of the evil alliance. So if the werewolf and the fool team up together now, then it will be a werewolf win, or who knows, maybe even a fool win. If the villagers are smart, they're going to vote fool, and then the fool might actually decide not to help the werewolf because they have some hopes of the villagers not unvoting. But let's see what happens here. I think it's quite. Oh, 6 is saying 8 red now because but of course we cannot really trust that info. Um, Let me see. I think 8 is full here. Um, but yeah, the villagers are going to vote the werewolf eventually. Maybe they'll start with voting the fool and then switch to the werewolf. That's probably the best thing that they can do, because for the werewolves to win, they need the fool to help them. Of course, they might not take any risk and just do that. But the fool might also try to go for a solo win somehow. Let's see what happens here. We see 8 and 6 dying votes. 1 and 4 are not voting yet. If 8 is the fool, then 8 will unvote because they don't really have anything to lose, as 1 and 4 are not voting. Um, there are 2 votes required. So if 8 doesn't even need to unvote, because if 1 of votes, then 8 will be lynched. But nobody votes, which means that the werewolves can get another kill, and it will be a 1v1v1, which is practically the same situation, except the village can't win anymore. In this situation, the village could win if the fool lynched the werewolf. Um, But yeah, the Fool will definitely not vote in the next voting phase, which means that the Village, practically speaking, has no chance of winning. Also in this situation already, there's like a very minimal chance of practical chance of a win, but and the Pursuer dies now, so let's see what the Fool is going to do. I think this is just going to be a Werewolf win, because the Fool is wants to help the Evil Alliance. And I think that the main reason for this village loss was definitely the witch killing 10. Because of course they did a very good job at pushing a bullet onto 14, who then died. But after that, it was obvious that 10 was the junior, because the junior is always the wolf that goes most aggressive. Because if they die, they can kill another person. So basically, as junior, your main plan is to kill somebody and then get yourself killed, so you kill another person, and that's 2 kills that you can have in the time span of like a day, and that's pretty huge if you can achieve that. This is exactly what 10 did, and that's also the reason that the witch shouldn't have killed 10, as they should have realized that 10 was playing like that. So 10 was the junior werewolf. And I kind of would have expected the witch to know that, but of course mistakes do happen. Now we see 2 votes going on to 8, and 8 is actually voting 6, and I think 6 was the I haven't followed the specific information, but I think that 6 was the werewolf. Uh, this might actually be interesting. What's gonna happen here? What's actually gonna happen? And 8 turns out to be the Red Lady, and the werewolves take home the victory for the first game. Wow, a really nice Miss Lynch there to finish things off by 6, and the Red Lady goes down, and the werewolves win. And what a game that was, the first game. And of course, the village started off a bit poorly with the medium dying and the priests kind of wasting their water. Now, later in the game, they got some hope as the fool died, and it seemed like the village was in a good spot. They were finding some bad rolls. They were yeah, they were doing well, but then the witch killed a junior instead of a solo killer, which made the rules manage to get to an end game that was winning for them, and eventually we saw that the rules taking home that victory. So yeah, very exciting stuff the first game already, and let's go into the second one. After the first game, we see Tensetia on top with 8 points, followed by Blushidan, Assalto, and Ipan and El Ninja by 7 points. Then Foxio received Imirhan, a serial killer, Mr. Potato, with 6 points, and Drinking Do Flamingo, Janu, Eric King, Ghost King, and Penguin Attack with 5 points. And at the bottom of the leaderboard for this game is Miji Miji with 4 points.